Uh, anyway, welcome to Hannity. Once again, your President Joe has thoroughly embarrassed the entire country on the world stage on his latest European adventure. Earlier today, he actually had to be led around and told where to stand by fellow world leaders numerous times, while repeatedly looking lost and dazed and confused during the ongoing NATO summit that has taken place in Lithuania. Unfortunately, the start of his trip was not much better either. Yesterday, he appeared to awkwardly use King Charles for balance, hanging on to him, and walk with noticeable stiffness, we'll call it. And later, he seemed to forget where he was, distracted in conversation with a British soldier, before having to be led away by King Charles. Move this way, Mr. President. Whatever. I can't do it like Pierce. Anyway, since becoming president, Joe's time in office has been nothing but one embarrassment after another. And, of course, the economy's in a shambles. World affairs couldn't be any worse than they are. And now Joe also skipped out on tonight's dinner with other NATO leaders, sending Secretary of State Tony Winkin Blinken in his place. That should give you all confidence, because according to officials, he has a big speech tomorrow and a 4-day work week, which is frankly too much for your weak, frail, cognitive mess of a president to handle. But in Joe's defense, he's coming off a very long, very stressful weekend. There's a lot of stress pulling that beach chair along the beaches of Delaware. And, of course, fighting with his beach chair at different moments. Look at that. He had a very hard time moving that beach chair, getting it in the right position and, you know, bending over and everything. I mean, it was hard. Anyway, seizing an opportunity to capitalize on Biden's weakness, Virginia Governor, interestingly, Glenn Youngkin, he has now launched an effort we have talked at length about on this program, urging Republicans and conservatives in the Commonwealth of Virginia in this case, but every state he thinks needs to follow suit. Republicans must embrace early voting, mail-in voting, and match the efforts of Democrats in states where they have legal ballot harvesting. That is an imperative. Otherwise, Republicans will start out Election Day down hundreds of thousands of votes, and that is not sustainable for winning. And while Joe is embarrassing us abroad, we still have no answers on the White House cocaine mystery. It's now day 9. Earlier today, Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was pressed on the issue, and as per usual, she had no answers. Take a look.
Any updates on the investigation into the cocaine at the White House? The Secret Service indicated if they're closer to...
Yeah, I don't have any updates. As you know, as you just mentioned, Secret Service is under their purview. They're certainly investigating the situation. I just don't have anything updated. I would refer you to the Secret Service on that particular question.
Day 9 in the search for the Biden White House cocaine culprit, and we need answers now. It is now getting suspicious that we don't have them. The Secret Service is set to brief Congress on the scandal supposedly this week. What is taking so long? There's not very many people that have free access around the White House. I've been there. I know. Some law enforcement officials are now suggesting the person responsible may never be found. That is a stretch beyond any comprehension I would have. How would that be possible? How could a highly illegal drug that could have been tainted with fentanyl make its way all the way into the Biden White House with 0 suspects? Having been to the White House multiple times, I can assure you that you don't walk around as you feel free to walk around. There are Secret Service agents surrounding the building, inside every hall of that building, never mind the ones hiding on the roof and the ones in the basement. Yet we're supposed to believe that nobody knows anything. They can't figure out who was in what room at what time. They can't piece that together. Does the administration maybe know something that they're not telling us? Are they putting the Secret Service in a position that is compromised? Now, they certainly have struggled to keep their story straight. Remember, they first said that they couldn't tell us where exactly they found it. Then Karine Jean-Pierre angrily was lecturing reporters that the Bidens were not in the White House on that Friday before the weekend when they found it, calling the question, highly irresponsible. You might remember.
Can we just say once and for all whether or not the cocaine belonged to the Biden family?
So, a couple of things there. We've answered this question, litigated this question for the last 2 days exhaustively. There has been some irresponsible reporting about the family. And so I got to call that out here. And I have been very clear. I was clear 2 days ago when talking about this over and over again as I was being asked a question. As you know, and media outlets reported this, the Biden family was not here. They were not here. They were at Camp David. They were not here Friday. They were not here Saturday. They were not here Sunday. They were not even here Monday. They came back on Tuesday. So to ask that question is actually incredibly irresponsible. And I'll just leave it there.
Turns out Karine was the one incredibly irresponsible because what you just heard was a lie. According to the Pool report, the Bidens, in fact, were at the White House on Friday. They did not depart for Camp David until 6:34 exactly that Friday evening. Is the administration even taking it seriously? Well, certainly, you know, if it was the Trumps, this would be all you'd hear about on every network, in every newspaper, day in, day out, until they finally got an answer. According to the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, the White House has a rigorous drug testing policy. Really? How rigorous? Take a look.
Look, we have rigorous drug testing policies at the White House. We have rigorous drug use policies here at the White House. We take those extremely seriously. So we'll let the investigation unfold. If it involves someone from the White House, the appropriate consequences will ensue.
Apparently not that seriously. Assuming that's even true, then every member of the White House staff, they need to be drug tested. What if the cocaine was, as I said, laced with fentanyl, which is pouring into our southern border in record amounts under Biden's open border policies, not enforcing the laws of the land, picking and choosing which laws he chooses to enforce? You cannot have a potentially lethal drug around the president of this country. And make no mistake, we need answers. We need to know who brought it in there. We need to know who's responsible. And thinking that Hunter might be a possible suspect is a very reasonable thought. This should alarm every single American, and the White House needs to start taking it seriously.